Ever tried watching figure skating and just wonder what the heck is going on the ice? Look no further.
Let's get you ready for the Olympics.
So here's some figure skating 101. At international events like the Olympics, you're looking at 4 figure skating disciplines. You got singles, men and women, you got pairs, and you have ice dance. So if you turned on the TV and there's just one skater on the ice, pretty self-explanatory, easy to tell what's happening. If there are 2 skaters skating together though, you got a bit of a pickle. So here's how to tell the difference between pairs and ice dancers. Generally, not always though, if you see a pretty big height difference with a tall big man skating with a tiny woman, you're most likely looking at pairs. Also, if a woman gets lifted above the man's hand, like he's holding her on the extended arms, if he throws her in the air and she lands on the ice, or if both of them jump, you're guaranteed looking at a pairs competition. An ice dance team would generally be more similar in heights to each other, and none of them will be jumping. That's guaranteed. If you're confused about how they decide who wins, or why this chick placed higher than the other even though she fell, keep watching, we're gonna explain in a second. If we look at single skaters, also known as free skate, their programs have to consist of 4 general things: jump elements, spins, step sequences, and choreographic sequences. To break it down further, each skater has to show a maximum of 7 jump elements, a maximum of 3 spins, 1 leveled step sequence, and 1 choreographic sequence. Don't worry, we're gonna translate this in a second. Each of these elements would be scored with 2 types of score. Each of them would have a base value, basically some jumps cost more points than the others, and then they would have what we call GOE, which is grade of execution. Basically, in human language, that means how cool you looked while performing your basic element. If a skater has a creative or difficult entrance into their jump, sticks a really clean landing, shows nice lines, and just generally looks amazing, they would get extra points for that. However, if they have their hand touch the ice when they land, maybe their edge was not very clean, stuff like that would get you a deduction. So to sum it up, somebody who does really difficult elements, even if none of them are exactly clean or very well executed, even sometimes if they fall, could still win over somebody who skates very clean, but their base value of their elements is way lower. Meaning their jumps and their spins are just easier to do. Now let's talk about how to tell the difference between figure skating jumps, so that when you look at your program, you can tell exactly what you're looking at.
So there is a grand total of 6 jumps divided in 2 general categories: the toe jumps and the edge jumps. Those are the same for singles, pairs, and basically everybody who jumps. Toe jumps is when you use your toe pick to take off, and edge jumps is when you don't. Let's start with the edge jumps first. The first jump that every figure skater learns is the waltz jump, but you're not gonna see those in the Olympics. That's because it's only half a rotation, and that's too easy for these guys. Instead, you're gonna see an axel, which is pretty much the same thing, but it has way more rotations. Axel is the easiest one to recognize because it's the only one that takes off forward.
Because of its forward takeoff, this jump will always have half a revolution more than any other one. These days, it has become pretty much an expectation to have a triple axel, which is 3.5 turns, if a skater wants to have a chance for a medal at the Olympics.
So there you go, now you at least have one jump that you can easily tell apart from the others. The next edge jump is salchow. This one is gonna take off backwards like all of the other jumps. The skater will always take off on one foot and land on the other, pushing off an edge of their blade and using the free leg to propel themselves. This is also the jump that figure skaters use to learn to do more than one revolution. At the Olympics you would expect at least 3. If a figure skater lands on the same foot that they took off from, then you're looking at the last edge jump, the loop, also often called a Rittberger. On to the toe jumps. For these 3, the skaters will use their toe picks to jump and not the edge of the blade. Let's start with the toe loop. Just like salchow, on toe loop, skaters will take off of one foot and land on the other. 3 or even 4 rotations in the air will be very common for Olympic level. Toe loop is also a common addition for combo jumps, which is a term we use for when skaters do several jumps in a row without steps in between.
The other 2 toe jumps are flip and lutz. In both of them, the skater will use the toe pick to take off and land on the same foot they took off from. And honestly, to an untrained eye, or if you're not a skater, they look almost exactly the same, so really good luck telling them apart. The main difference between the two is that flip takes off from what we call an inside edge, which is the inside part of your skating blade, and Lutz takes off from the outside edge. But because they look so similar, and again, unless you're a figure skating judge or very experienced viewer or a skater yourself, they're really hard to tell apart, and the slight edge differences causes a lot of judging drama and all sort of added entertainment into watching figure skating. So honestly, your best bet as a viewer is probably to just, whenever the skater finishes the jump, look at the corner of your screen and see which letters pop up showing their grade. So as we mentioned at the beginning, at senior level, which is what Olympic skaters are, they will be allowed to have a maximum of 7 jump elements, one of which has to be an axel type jump, meaning taking off forward. Jumps may contain any number of revolutions theoretically, but we're at the Olympics, so if a skater wants to have any chance of placing high, you should expect this triple or quads, which is 3 or 4 revolutions in the air. Out of these 7 jump elements, a maximum of 3 can be jump combinations or sequences. A jump combination, or what we call combo jumps, is 2 or 3 jumps executed back to back with no additional steps in between. Jump sequence is any jump that is immediately followed by an axel type jump. Up until the previous Olympics, triple jumps were pretty much the standard for both men and women single skating. Men started jumping quads, which is 4 revolutions in the air, a while ago, while for women it was still not really a standard. But this Olympics is where it's gonna change. Most of the medal contenders in the women's single skating this Olympics have their quad jumps. So there's progress right there. The base value of the jumps changes drastically the more revolutions you add. For example, a triple toe loop would grant a skater a basic value of 4.20 points, while the same in quad will bring them 9.50. That's a really big difference, and that's if both are executed evenly with the same value, without any additions or deductions. This is why you often see skaters who jump quadruple jumps would place higher over those who jump doubles and triples, even if not of their elements are executed to the best of their ability. In addition to jumps, skaters' spins and step sequences will also receive their basic scores, plus additions or deductions based on how well they did them. And this, in short, is pretty much how figure skating scoring works. And this is how judges decide who wins the competition. Hope this helps you make more sense of what's going on when you're watching figure skating this Olympic season. Please give us a like if you found this video helpful, and make sure to leave any and all additional questions down in the comment section. Happy watching!